It kind of feels like everything's happening too fast.
Sit down.
It would have been nice to have a little bit of time just to prepare myself.
Time to prepare yourself, Sam? Wait, you mean like the 3 years since you've been dating? The year since you've been engaged? Yeah, I think that would have been a good time to start contemplating how serious converting to Islam is. But Sam is, as usual, underprepared for what life throws at him.
Muhammadan
Rasulullah.
Rasulullah.
Takbir.
Allahu Akbar.
Mabruk.
Has Sam really converted for the right reasons? Well, before we dive into everything, let's just start at the beginning. So, the last time we saw these guys, Citra's father was begging her to reconsider marrying Sam. But in her mind, there was no choice. She loves Sam. She can't imagine a life where the two of them aren't together. So, whether he's facing jail time or not, she still wanted to go ahead with the wedding. And while I've got no doubt that her dad would love for her to reconsider her position, it's now the day before the wedding, and it's a bit too late to back out now.
Tomorrow's the wedding day. A lot going on. I'm converting, and then after, having my spiritual ceremony, and then my American wedding.
A lot going on is certainly one way of putting it. Sam's entire life as he knows it is about to turn on its head. He's gonna have a wife he's financially responsible for. He's gonna have a religion he'll need to abide by. And let's not forget, he might have jail time to top it all off. But even with all of these huge things hovering over him, Sam has only got one thing on his mind.
You know, I'm not just after sex, but after waiting this long, it's killing me.
The man has a one-track mind. I feel like Sam always finds a way to bring up this topic. We get it. You're really excited to be intimate with Citra. And of course, I really hope that that's not one of the main reasons why you're rushing into a wedding. Sam's getting such tunnel vision about having sex that it hasn't even occurred to him to maybe slow down for a second and check in on how Citra's feeling about it all. After all, Sam's the first man she'll ever be intimate with.
And I'm a little bit scared for that. I mean, I don't know how it's gonna feels like. Is it gonna be hurt or I don't know, still, nervous.
Now, coming from quite a strict Muslim family, it is interesting to see how open Citra is to talking about sex. But then again, we have seen that Citra's, how shall I put this, a bit more flexible on the rules of her religion. She was happy to go to a bar with Sam and drink alcohol, even though alcohol is strictly forbidden in Islam. She's clearly got a bit of a rebellious side in her. I mean, she's marrying a bit of a bad boy. A man with neck tattoos, a history of addiction problems and problems with the law. Even though her dad is a cop, a former drug cop, she clearly likes to push the limits. And we see this again when everyone's getting ready for Sam's conversion and their religious ceremony the next day.
Jangan terlalu kencang.
Emang begini.
Look, Citra's religion is clearly important to her and her family, but at the same time, it doesn't stop her from following her own rules, expressing herself how she wishes to, loving who she wishes to. Citra's a confident woman, and she stands her ground when it comes to her dad's opinions. Her dad doesn't seem to enforce anything on her, and that is a healthy relationship.
I'm wearing a long dress to cover my head. It's called hijab. And he's wearing it's called baju koko.
Now, the shirt that Sam's wearing is what Muslim men wear to pray, and that's something that Sam will need to start doing 5 times a day. But before they head off to the mosque, Citra's dad, Herman, wants to have a private conversation with Sam. But for that to be possible, they're gonna need the help of Google Translate.
Saya sebagai ayahnya Citra hanya berpesan kepada kamu, tolong jaga anak saya, cintai dia, sayangi dia. sampai ajal.
It's a sweet sentiment, but unfortunately, as anyone who's used it knows, Google Translate isn't perfect. It can get very confused when you try to translate long sentences. So instead of translating what Citra's dad wants to, which is he wants Sam to love and cherish Citra until they're old and grey, until they're so old that they have their own grandchildren. Instead, what comes out is something like this.
Love him until death comes in the sense that until he gets old, until grandparents have grandchildren.
A lot of time it'll even put like different words, completely different meaning.
Now, thankfully, Sam gets the gist of what Herman is trying to tell him. He understands that what Herman's looking for is reassurance that Sam will look after his little girl. Because right now, Herman's not sure. He has question marks. There's no hiding his monumental disappointment at learning that Sam might be facing jail time. So knowing this, Sam pulls out all the stops to try and win back Herman's approval.
Honestly, I want to be like you and Citra's mom.
Seperti kalian adalah contoh sempurna dan itulah yang aku inginkan dari keluarga kita.
Thank you.
Nice move, Sam. There's nothing quite like flattery. Like, make no mistake, Sam knows exactly what he's doing here. He brings up the beautiful love between Herman and his late wife. He tells him that that's the love that he wants between himself and Citra, and his tactic works a charm. Citra's dad wells up, he gets emotional, and that's enough for him to accept Sam as his son. He's ready to hand over responsibility of Citra to Sam, as is customary in their religion.
Tapi ya saya selaku orang tua dengan kekuatan cinta mereka, ya saya harus bisa menerima apa yang menjadi niat mereka untuk menikah.
Look, has he accepted Sam? Has he given his blessings? Yes. But is he over the moon about this wedding? Well, no. And who can blame him? Sam might love Citra. I'm sure Herman can see that. But if he had his way, I don't think the wedding would be going ahead. He isn't exactly Herman's ideal first choice as son-in-law. I think he's still clearly uneasy about the whole thing. He still has his questions about everything, but he trusts Citra enough to let her do her own thing. And from everything we've seen, Herman appears to be a good father. Sam understands this. He himself feels lucky to have Herman in his life.
A real father-son bond, and it's just great. I've never had anything like it before, so thank God, or I mean Allah.
Growing up, Sam's family life left him wanting for a father figure. You see, growing up, he was raised by his mum in a really Christian household, and it's only as an adult that he's found himself reconnecting and living with his dad. But his intention to convert to Islam has put a strain on his relationship with his parents. Neither of them believe that Sam should convert in order to marry.
I'd really like both my parents to be there when I convert. Even if they don't agree with it, it's a big moment for me and her. Her parents are there, why can't I have my parents there?
And when we join them later on that day at the mosque where Sam is first going to convert to Islam and then have an Islamic wedding ceremony, his anxiety begins to build. He nervously waits for his parents to see if they're going to show up. Now, Herman takes this opportunity to show Sam some of the basic Islamic rituals. He shows him, for example, how to prepare before prayer. And by the time Sam has finished washing and purifying himself, he's relieved to at least see his dad. But sadly, his mum is missing.
Siapa?
Papa?
Bapak.
It'd be nice if my mom was here, but kind of hurts, but I'll take what I can get.
Sam's dad isn't religious at all, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't believe in anything. He believes in the higher power and the spirituality of aliens. So despite his kooky personality, and despite the obviously awkward relationship that father and son share, what matters is that he showed up. He's here to support his son. There's clearly a lot of parallels between Citra's dad and Sam's dad. They might not like what their kids are doing, but they support them anyway.
I know what it's like to go to something and have none of your family there. I was left alone a lot during my marriage, and my side of the family, so I would never do that to Sam.
I don't quite know what it is, whether it's his curiosity about all religion, his sad backstory, the love and support that he's showing Sam, or maybe just how cool he looks with his sunglasses indoors. But whatever it is, I want to see more of Sam's dad on this show. Can we maybe snag him a date with Debbie on The Single Life? I think their personalities might go quite well. But putting that on pause for now, with the Imam now arriving, the time has come for Sam's conversion.
I'm worried that he's unprepared because that's typically of Sam. Like, he's not prepared about everything.
Even if I do wing it, I pull off.
Do you really, Sam? You were winging it with your paperwork for the diversion program, and now you might be going to jail, so I wouldn't exactly call that pulling it off. But today's a day for celebration, so let's not dwell on the negatives. So as the Imam calls Sam to the front of the congregation to begin the ceremony, he begins to panic a bit.
It kind of feels like everything's happening too fast.
Sit down.
It would have been nice to have a little bit of time just to prepare myself.
What happened to winging it, Sam? What happened to pulling shit off? Sam's been with Citra for almost 3 years. He proposed to her over a year ago. So he's known for at least a year now that this day would come. He has had time to prepare for this. I'm not sure just how much longer Sam feels he needs. Maybe he's not ready because he's converting for the wrong reasons.
Muhammadan
Rasulullah.
Rasulullah.
Takbir.
Allahu Akbar.
Mabruk.
And just like that, the conversion is complete. Sam is now officially a Muslim, and that means he can marry Citra under Islamic law. Now, whether Sam's converted because he truly wants to follow the Muslim way, or whether he's converted as a means to an end in order to marry Citra, in order to finally be able to be intimate with her, I guess we'll find out in due course. But he seems adamant this is the real deal.
I'm really proud of him. It's not easy for someone to convert to other religion.
Yeah, honestly, if you go in trying to fake it, you're not going to make it out. It's not going to work.
Look, it would clearly be a lie to say there aren't some serious question marks about how seriously Sam and Citra will abide by the rules of Islam once Citra's dad returns to Indonesia. Will he give up alcohol? Will he stop eating pork? Will he pray 5 times a day? I don't know. We'll see. If he's serious, then good for him. But this is a lifelong commitment. It'll be interesting to see whether his willpower wanes after a few months. I mean, we have seen how even Citra herself is sometimes a bit lax with the rules. Will she be able to show Sam the ways? Will she be a good influence on Sam? Or will Sam maybe be a bad influence on Citra?
I was definitely a bit of a up in the past, but since being with her, she really straightened me out.
Yeah, if you up anymore, you have to answer me.
Yeah, Citra, you tell him, girl. Yeah, I think the reality is Sam will have to answer to a court of law. I hate to be a broken record here, but Muslim or not, Sam might still be going to jail. But at least if he does go to jail, he'll have someone waiting for him on the outside. Because now that he's Muslim, it's time for their Islamic wedding ceremony to begin.
First and foremost, we should ask the father, do you agree about concluding that marriage?
Yes.
Okay.
So before beginning, the Imam asks Citra's dad whether or not he gives his blessing. And even though Sam did get his approval earlier on in the day, it must feel like a huge weight lifted off his shoulders to have the official seal of approval from Herman. That was the last hurdle to leap over before they could officially be wed.
Do you agree to marry Sister Citra according to the Quran and the Sunnah?
Yes.
Okay. Sister Citra, do you agree to marry Brother Sam
Yes, I do.
The pair exchange vows, and just like that, under the eyes of their god, Sam and Citra are now married. And while Sam's dad spectates the entire event like it's an interesting documentary, Citra's dad, by comparison, is overcome with emotion. He begins to cry.
Sampai nggak sadar saya meneteskan air mata, saking bahagianya melihat anak saya Citra dengan Sam menikah secara Islami, disaksikan.
Mabruk inshallah.
Alhamdulillah.
The day of their daughter's wedding is emotional enough for any dad. But Herman also has the added weight, the added pressure of knowing that he's leaving Citra behind in a foreign country with a man he doesn't yet fully trust, a man who might be going to jail. So yeah, I'm sure those tears are of joy, but there might just also be a little bit from fear, a concern of what the future holds for his daughter.
It's what I've been waiting for all my life, it feels like.
It happened so fast, like you blink your eyes and then that's it, we're married.
Yeah, we all know that the one thing Sam's looking forward to now is the wedding night. But whilst these two are now married, their challenges are only just now about to begin. Will Sam rise to the challenge and be a good Muslim? Will he live up to Citra's expectations? Will she stand by him if he goes to jail, if he doesn't live up to being a good Muslim? This conversion was the easy part. The hard part, the real test, starts now.